In today's video, we're going to talk about how to stop overeating and learn how to eat to the point of satisfaction so you can finally get lean. Now, the idea for today's topic came from two great questions I received in a recent video. Number one from John, who mentioned that he really struggles to incorporate some of his fun foods without binging on them. The other question came from Wayne, who just wants to know some tips on how to eat to the point of satisfaction. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like me to address in upcoming videos, please drop them down in the comment section below. I would love to be of help to you. It feels so freaking amazing to say that it's been over 6 years since the last time I've overeaten. Now, this doesn't come naturally to me. This has been a learned skill. I'm very much like my father, who I see really struggles to control himself, especially when it comes to these highly palatable foods. Now, if it wasn't for my mom, my dad would definitely be overweight. And it wasn't until I moved out of the house that I realized the important role she played in me and my family staying lean during that times, because she did all the grocery shopping and she controlled our portions. Now, when I moved out of the house and got married, I was in total control of my shopping and my own portions, and that's when I gained 50 pounds. So I had to learn the skills I'm about to share with you in this video to eat to the point of satisfaction and control my weight. There are a boatload of factors that make it difficult for us to control our appetites. If you want to gain a greater insight into the physiology, the psychology of why it is difficult for us, there's two books that I highly recommend you read. Number one is The Hungry Brain. You actually may want to get the audiobook of this. It's can be a little bit dry reading it, but so informative. Just a lot of valuable information in here that can really help kind of awaken your mindset to why it's challenging and give you some steps to overcome those challenges. The other book, it's kind of a classic. It's been around for a while now. Mindless Eating. Brian Wansek, he did a lot of different studies, continues to do a lot of studies when it comes to appetite control. One of them, fascinating, just taking M&Ms, where you got a bowl that is the regular M&Ms with all the multicolors in there. You're more likely to overeat those than you would be if there was just one color of the M&Ms. So if you have a bowl of like green M&Ms, you're going to eat less than them if you have a bowl of the regular M&Ms that have all the different colors in them. A lot of it comes down to variety. So it's just fascinating to see how our brain works and how definitely these food companies are aware of all these triggers and really applying them to get us to overconsume a lot of the foods that we have. So the first step for me in this process of learning to eat to the point of satisfaction happened about 11 years ago when I embarked on this journey of losing that 50 pounds of fat. I became aware of the thoughts that were going on in my mind when I was at that point of overeating. So I'd reach into that box of cookies, have one, have two, have the third. Then at that point, think to myself, there you go, you blew your diet. You might as well eat the entire box of cookies. Then that would lead to me thinking, well, you blew your diet anyways. You're going to start again tomorrow, or you start again on Monday. You might as well just go hog wild right now. Eat the bag of chips, eat the tub of ice cream, pig out, thinking that you're going to be depriving yourself afterwards, that it may be ages before you ever get to eat these foods again. So I really had to learn and tell myself that, you know what, I can have 3 cookies right now. They can fit into my calorie target for the day, and I can have 3 cookies tomorrow as well. I can have cookies every day if I want, but eat them to the point of satisfaction and to the point that's going to fit into my calorie target for the day, or the portion size for the day that's going to allow me to hit my goal of being in a calorie deficit and bring me one step closer to achieving my goal of getting lean. And at that point was losing that 50 pounds of fat so I could have 6-pack abs for my 36th birthday. So really catching myself in that moment, how I was justifying the excess by saying, I'm going to start again tomorrow. So let's just get this out of the way right now, and tomorrow is going to start out fresh. But that cycle repeated itself over and over and over again until I became aware of that moment and to have counter arguments for it. So initially, my counter argument was along the lines of the common advice that you should try to think to yourself that nothing tastes as good as being fit feels, and that you should think of your goal, how you're going to feel when you achieve your goal of getting lean. And for myself personally, thinking of how great it's going to feel on my 36th birthday when I'm doing that photo shoot, I have 6-pack abs, I'm feeling sexy, I'm feeling congruent with myself, like really stirring up all those positive emotions, which really did help, but it wasn't the major driving force that really set me on this path of eating to the point of satisfaction. For me, it happened on a Friday evening. Now, at that time in my lifestyle, for 11 years ago all the way up to 6 years ago, every night, every Friday night, I was going out with the guys. We were playing darts. We'd all bring food. There's a massive spread, pepperettes, chips, dips, alcohol, all that stuff. So I would be aggressive with my calorie deficit during the week leading up to that Friday, and then I would pick out because I just knew I couldn't control myself having all that variety of food in front of me. So rather than try to resist that urge, I just resisted throughout the week, knowing that it was going to lead up to it. But again, that I'd get there, I'd be like hungry. I'd be really freaking hungry. Couldn't wait to dive into that food, and then I just couldn't control myself at that point. So then that Friday evening, I would get home, and I would feel disgusting. I'd feel so full, so bloated. Would go to bed just tossing and turning. I couldn't get comfortable. I'd have acid reflux. The next day, again, full bloated. My digestive system would be out of whack. And it would just take me days to kind of feel like myself once again. So rather than having this goal or thinking to myself, the counter argument of how great it's going to feel to achieve my goal, it was more like, I can't stand feeling like this feels awful. It was painful to overeat to that point. So I'm like, I wanted to run away from that point. So my goal was to not feel like that ever again, even though it had been years and years of me just getting used to that experience. But just there was something in that moment that just triggered me to realize, this is just not good for me. So I made it a point to I'm never going to overeat to that point again. And again, it's been a learning process. There were times where I would eat to the point where I would feel full, but never to that point of being overstuffed and just gluttonous like I had been up to that point. So running away from that pain of just feeling uncomfortable, feeling disgusting in that moment, in a combination with striving for that goal of thinking of that vision, how great I'm going to feel when I am lean, but also stirring up those positive emotions, how great it's going to feel to just eat to that point of satisfaction. That's what I started learning as I was avoiding overeating and starting to eat more to the point of satisfaction. I was realizing to myself, this feels better to eat to the point of satisfaction than it did to overeat, even though I'm stuffing myself with all these great foods and everything, realizing that beyond that eating to the point of satisfaction, the food no longer tastes as good anymore. There's just only negative that comes from eating beyond that point of satisfaction. You don't gain any more joy. So in those moments, I'd catch myself thinking, is it worth it to eat any more of this? So really got to have those conversations in your mind and repeat those conversations over mind because in that time, is it worth it? No, of course it's not. It's going to feel like awful later. I'm going to feel so much better if I just stop right now. I enjoyed this meal. I enjoyed this food. This is perfect for me right now. But then you're going to see that food is still there. Maybe just one more. You have to go, is it worth it, Scott? Is it worth it to eat? But you don't have to do this. You've eaten to that point of satisfaction. You hit your calorie target for the day. You manage your portion control for the day. You're doing all the right things. Celebrate the hell of that. You can stop. And then again, you might be tempted again. You have to kind of repeat that over and over again because the temptations are there. And you're just going to have to learn. Each time you go through that process, that experience, it's just going to reinforce how great it feels to eat to that point of satisfaction. And if you have a time where you do slip up a bit and you do overeat more than what you want to, maybe you don't eat to the point where you're feeling totally stuffed and gluttonous. It's not as bad as it used to be, but still more than you should have, more than a point of satisfaction. You feel that negative, that kind of pain from that experience, how it doesn't feel comfortable to feel bloated and stuffed, and maybe you sleep like crap. Maybe the next few days your digestive system's out of whack. So that's a reminder. That's why I don't eat like that all the time. So you just take each of those experiences and build upon them. So just really know that it takes time. It takes practice. It really takes that heightened sense of awareness, not only with how you feel, but with the conversations that are going on in your mind at that time when you're on the brink of overeating, on that brink of leading to a binge. And where those conversations in your mind when you eat to that point of satisfaction and you feel great from that experience. So you got to play those over and over and over again and just keep practicing. And as Wayne mentioned in his question, yes, chewing my food slowly, maybe drinking some water between bites is very helpful. But really, it's not so much about the chewing slowly or the drinking water that is the most impactful from that experience. It just allows you to slow things down. You're taking your time, you're present in the moment, you're savoring every bite. If you're having that meal with someone else, you can really enjoy the company with them. So put the fork down, talk a little bit, take the next bite, chew it slowly, and like share that experience. Like, holy smokes, this meal is freaking delicious. Like, this is so good. You should give this a try the next time that you come to this restaurant or with this meal that we prepare for each other here. Like, it is so freaking good. So you really gain the greatest joy from that experience, from like chewing it slowly and actually savoring every freaking bite, like really tasting your food rather than a few quick bites and trying to shovel it down as quick as possible so you can get on to the next thing. Like, our lifestyles are crazy hectic, but we really need to make the point of slowing down when we're eating our meals. And yes, like sipping some water beforehand can be helpful. Again, when it comes to sleep, I find that sleep has a huge impact on our appetite control, which is why I'm always suggesting that you make it your number one priority. When you're getting an adequate amount of sleep each and every night, you're going to be better controlled with your appetite. If you're not getting enough sleep, research has shown that you're likely to mindlessly eat 300 to 600 calories more. So make sleep a top priority. It's really going to be helpful, and it's going to help with your mental clarity, your mental focus. You're going to be able to better handle those situations. And again, in Brian's book, Mindless Eating here, like one of the tips he recommends is to have smaller plates. So they did, again, a research study where it was the same portion size of food. You put that portion on a large plate, so it actually looks like it's smaller. You're more likely to not feel as satisfied. You're going to want to eat more. Whereas if you have a smaller plate, same size portion meal there, you're going to feel more full. You're going to feel like you ate more than you actually did. So little tricks that you can do in that regards. There's a lot more tips in that book that I recommend. And just, I also recommend like not allowing yourself to get to the point where you're like over hungry. So really be aware of meal timing and try to keep a consistent pattern with your meal frequency each and every day. So if you're eating like 4 meals per day, maybe spreading them out every 3 to 4 hours consistently, so you don't get to the point where like, oh my God, I'm so freaking hungry, and you end up eating out of control. You're just trying to get that food in you as fast as possible. Then all of a sudden you're like, holy smokes, okay, I'm way more full than I am right now because you ate so fast there. So again, that's the benefit of taking your time chewing. You can be more aware of your satiety cues than if you're eating too fast there. Something speaking of fast, you may also benefit from is an occasional fast, whether it's a 24-hour fast or something along those lines. I've done it a few times in the past. There's been twice where I've gone on a 6-week fat loss phase where I incorporated a variety of different fasting protocols in there. Fasting isn't for me per se. I mean, I typically eat, I guess you could say, I don't even consider it fasting, like that 16-hour, 8-hour window there, 16-8. I'm along those lines. I'd say my eating window is around 8 to 9 hours most days. It just works best for me. I don't really consider that fasting per se, but doing a 24-hour fast can really open your mind to what true hunger feels like and the true hunger cues, and how you realize you can get to the point where you're starting to feel hungry, but if you just wait a little bit longer, drink a little bit of water, it kind of subsides there. So it was eye-opening for me that I could fast if I needed to. It made me aware of my hunger cues, but again, it also made me aware that it's just not my lifestyle to incorporate these 24-hour fasts in there. But for some people, it does. It's a very eye-opening experience. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to try to gain greater insights into your hunger cues, your appetite cues, your satiety cues as well. So those are some of my tips when it comes to learning how to stop overeating, to eat to that point of satisfaction. Again, it is a work in progress. So if you do ever happen to, you're doing good for a little while, then you do overeat, it's just, to me, that's a learning lesson. I get excited for that moment. I don't beat myself up. I don't feel guilty. I'm like, woohoo, like what can I learn from this experience? Like, I've been so good for so long. What led to this overeating episode? Even if, like, for me at this point of the game, overeating is just kind of being a little bit full, not overly full or anything like that. I'm like, okay, I ate a little bit beyond that point of satisfaction. What led me to that point? What can I do a little bit better the next time? It's always an opportunity to learn and grow and get better each and every time. It's never ending, really. We're in this journey for life. So that's one of the key takeaways as well. It's just to not feel guilty. Don't beat yourself up learn from each experience. We're human. We're all facing all these different temptations, all these different things that are causing us to overeat. Like I mentioned in the hungry brain here, a lot working against us when it comes to our appetite control. So be kind to yourself, forgive yourself, but learn and move on as quickly as possible. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And once again, like this is why, when it comes to coaching, my one-on-one coaching clients, and even in the Lose Fat, Get Jacked inner circle there, we're talking about nutrition. It's not like, oh, here's a meal plan. Eat these foods, you're going to lose fat. Eat this meal plan, you're going to lose fat. Eat this meal plan, you're going to get lean. Do this workout, you're going to get in great shape. It's nothing about that. It's really about these factors here, learning to work with your own natural eating tendencies, do what's going to suit you best. It suits your lifestyle, your personal preferences, your personality. It's going to allow you to stick with this for the long term. It's really working with these kinds of situations more than just giving you a meal plan, giving you a workout program. That's what coaching is. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and gained value from it. If you did, please do me a huge favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, please do me a favor and share it with them. More than anything, I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, your insights, share your feedback on today's topic, your personal experiences, and what you have found works for you. And again, if you have any questions, please drop them down below as well. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Have yourself an amazing day. I'll catch you in the next video.